domination. It was, technically it wasn't from start to finish because it was 11-10 after the first segment. It was thanks to Maxime Reynaud, who was outstanding for Stanford. The only reason Duke wins this game 106-70. If you take away Maxime Reynaud's production, Duke probably wins this game by 50. And that's not an exaggeration. He was really good for Stanford. The problem was he was sort of on an island today. And Duke, they had a complete effort. You know, we may have, I wouldn't say complained, but we were critical of the second half, especially the last 15 minutes against Cal. And today was a complete 40-minute effort from the Duke Blue Devils.
At halftime, we were up 15, and we finished the game winning by 36. So they didn't take the foot off the pedal in the second half there. They just went at them, both defensively. I mean, 70 points is more than they normally give up. So
True.
we could be critical. Their defense wasn't that good, but they won by 36 points. So I think I'm going to let them all off the hook here and really enjoy this one.
It's what, to your point, one of the few times on the season it's been certainly less than 5 where a Duke opponent has shot at least 40% from 3. And Stanford connected on 41% of their threes. They were 12 of 29 and still lost by 36 points. That's pretty remarkable. A lot of it was really Duke's offense today, which is not. The defense started off really intense. I loved the way they started off. Reynaud hit a couple of threes early, which kept them in the game. Sellers hit a couple of nice shots. But it was really Duke's offense that made this really tough for Stanford. Because to your point, at the half, Stanford had 34 points, which against this Duke team is pretty good. The problem was Duke had 49 and was shooting 58% at the half, 44% from 3. They shot 86%, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. And most importantly, they had 1 turnover at halftime. They kind of, I guess, slipped up a bit in the second half and finished with 5 turnovers as a team. I mean, the offensive and not only that, they finished shooting 62% from the field and 48% from 3. So they were even better in the second half shooting than they were in the first half. It was just a complete and total offensive, performance by the Blue Devils, and it was a team effort because the other stat I want to make sure I get off here is they had 23 assists today, which is just amazing to see. The ball movement was awesome. There's a bunch of plays that we can go through, but just a total team effort on the offensive end.
This was still a 40-minute game, right?
Still a 40-minute game, yeah. All right, what'd you think?
They must have added 5. Their offensive production was just, and I guess the percentage shooting. But okay, there's so many highlights to talk about. So I think the first thing we should do is just take us through the Duke stats, and then let's go into the highlights.
Okay, all right, we'll pivot. So I'll pull up the stats for everybody. Proctor, that guy, he's been on fire the past 5 games. He had the stretch early in the season where you're shooting like 50% from 3 or close to it. He kind of slowed down a bit, but understandably so. And then the past 5 games, he's just been on a whole nother level. He led us again in scoring. 23 points for Tyrese Proctor. 9 of 13 from the field. 5 of 8 from 3. Super aggressive. Also chipped in 4 assists. And he was the guy primarily responsible in guarding Isaiah Sellers, who finished the game with 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting, which is just below his season average. So, Proctor again doing it on both ends, but his offense of late has just been on another level, and it was exceptional today against Stanford.
And it wasn't just his 3-point shooting. He showed his willingness to go to the basket, and uh, that is a very, like many other Duke players, that's a very difficult combination, because if you want to give him the 3-pointer, he'll happily take the 3-pointer. But if you're going to come up tight on him, he's showing that he's absolutely willing to go to the basket and take his hits along the way. And he finished a couple of them. They were great, but highlights later. All right, Proctor, 23.
I mean, next up in the scoring category is Cooper Flack, who had this is like a ho-hum Cooper Flag performance if you just looked at the box score. But if you watch the game, there was like 7 Cooper Flag highlights. I've already forgot about a couple because it was just hard to keep track of. 19 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. The one highlight I want to mention now, just while we're on Cooper, I know you said later, but it's just there was a play where he picked Reno's pocket, was almost going to go out of bounds, passes it to Khan. Khan hits Sion. Sion back to Cooper for the alley-oop. That was just an awesome play all around by everybody.
The ball never touched the floor. It was one of the, if you want to see how to run a fast break, that's it. If you're a coach of any other team, show that. Because Cooper, typical Cooper, completely unselfish. And all of them, they're just like pass, and then back to Cooper for the dunk. It was just, in my notes, unreal sequence. Just like mind-boggling. And I think that if you're a Duke fan, if you're a basketball fan, that was a clinic in one play of how to pass on a fast break without the ball ever touching the ground.
Next up, Kama Malawach, 17 points. He was 8 for 9 from the field. His only miss was the 1-3 he took. I lost track. Speaking of losing track, I lost track of how many alley-oops Mal finished today. I definitely more than 3. I don't remember exact. I should have had a counter going. The amount of times, whether it was Cooper, it started with Khan early on. Proctor found him for sure. They were doing a great job today of hitting Malawach on the alley-oop. He also had 6 rebounds, 4 offensive, and a big block shot for Mr. Man, maintaining and patrolling the middle of the Duke defense.
Mal, I think half of them were alley-oops and half of them were finding him and then he just went up and dunked it. But it was like they used every weapon they had, and the versatility of how they scored. And we'll get to the last segment later, which was a highlight reel unto itself in honor of the bench. And finally, we're going to get to say...
Hold on. Save that thought. We're going to stick with the starting lineup right now because I think they deserve a ton of praise. I think today was the best that all 5 of them played in one game. So, moving on, Sion James was awesome today. And I'll give a little spoiler. I saved you from one, but I'll give one, which is that last time, well, because this is how it works, you got, it's a semi-democracy around here, but we're, not complete. So, Sion James, I left him off the podium last time. I'm not doing that today. He was awesome. He had 14 points. He had 6 assists, 2 rebounds. He had 5 assists in the first half. I thought the thing that I wrote down in my notes, speaking of our notes, was he did a few of his passes in the first half were like The only thing I could think of was kind of like a quarterback, where he was like passing to the space where the guy was going to be instead of passing to the player. And one of them in particular, he Proctor was coming like around a screen at the top of the key, and he threw it to the area where Proctor would be, and then he
Yeah.
stepped into it, knocked down a three. I thought Sion James, his passing ability, then his ability to get to the rim, he had 8 free throws. He was 7 of 8 from the free throw line. His defense, unfortunately, against our friend Mr. Jalen Blakes, he just couldn't get anywhere. It was a tough matchup for Blakes, who likes to get to the rim. Tough to do that against this Duke team. It was just a hard matchup for Jalen Blakes. And Sion James was just outstanding today.
I can't talk about anything until you finish K2.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, Con Knipple is the only starter not in double figures today, and I thought he was excellent as well. There's been games where he's scored double figures, and I've been critical of him. Today, I thought he was awesome, and he had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a couple of steals. I thought his ability to be in the passing lanes today, it seemed like he had more than 2 steals. He was awesome defensively today. And then offensively, he did a really good job. As I said before, he got the first points of the game was off the patented Kant Kaman connection, where he runs the pick and roll and finds Kaman roll into the basket and hits him on the alley-oop. And he just had an excellent game, Con Knipple did. And it doesn't jump out, but watching it, he was just really good today.
To the degree that John Shire said, I want my guys going after the 50-50 ball, there should be a stat for how many times they're on the floor. And K2 was on the floor.
Uh-oh. We lost your audio. Maybe your headphones have died there. Hold on. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We're gonna get JD back in just a second here. How about now? We can't hear you. Hold on. Try to leave and come back. I'll carry for now. Try to leave and come back if you can hear me. Okay. Well, JD's gonna come back shortly here. So for the time being, the rest of the bench. So Malik Brown comes in. He's the first guy off the bench. He had a little bit of a hiccup early on where I felt like he helped off of Maxime Reynaud and gave up a three. But still, he had great effort today. He was one of those guys who was going after the 50-50 balls on multiple plays. He had a really nice assist to a cutting Tyrese Proctor. And he had he hit a 3-pointer, which was awesome from Malik Brown. He had 3 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Surprisingly, no steals for Malik Brown in this one. Mason Gillis was our second guy, the 7th man today off the bench. He hit one of his 3-pointers. He had a couple of rebounds. Thought he played just fine today for Duke. Isaiah Evans, been a little bit of a slump for Quick Draw of late. Did have a nice drive to the basket later in the game. He had a couple points, but his defense has just been so much better of late, and that's continued today against Stanford. And I'll save the bulk of it for JD because I know he wanted to talk about Foster, hopefully when he joins back here. But in the last 6 minutes, Duke went to the bench. They brought in Gangba and Harris and Foster. And at the time, Malik Brown was still on the court and Evans was still out there. And then Begovic came on for Malik Brown, and then Cameron Sheffield checked in for Isaiah Evans for the last couple minutes. And Foster had a couple of, he got himself going towards the end of the game. We're going to see if we can get JD back here. right now. Hold on.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So Foster, when they went to that last timeout, and he put Foster, Evans, Harris, Gamba in with Brown. I don't know what they gave Foster, but Foster hits a 2. He hits a 3. He then I'm looking. He hit a great drive, just a great drive to the basket. That's at 7. He hits another 3, and he finishes with 10 points in 3.5 minutes.
6. We'll give him 6.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what they gave him on ESPN. We've been quibbling with some ESPN stats of late, but that's also what they gave him on Go Duke. So we're gonna ride with.
All right, but I'm gonna also, since I wreak havoc on ESPN, this game was on ABC, and we were following the 4-country ice hockey thing, and which ended in plenty of time for this game to start on time. So ESPN has a relationship with ABC. Sounds like they actually tried to think this through. Let's just give them a little credit so that we could watch this and not fake golf or any of the other things that we've had to do.
You feel better now? You got that off?
I do.
All right. Good. And we got to give Foster. We'll spend in a game where Duke won by 36 points, and the amount of time we've spent talking about Caleb Foster, I think it's worth spending a few more minutes, or at least a minute or two, on Mr. Foster, because to your point, that was awesome to see for Caleb, who it's been a tough year for Caleb Foster. He's certainly struggled. After last game, we had a couple people, Lawrence Freeman, there was somebody who I apologize, I can't remember, also on the comments in the post game saying maybe it was Harris's turn to get those minutes. It turned out the option ended up being neither one of them was part of the rotation, really, which was notable. And Coach Shire really played. He went to that shorter bench of 8 guys. But Caleb Foster, the way he finished this game, he's going to see playing time. It's a short turnaround. It will be Monday night against Virginia. He will be a part of the rotation in a little bit more meaningful way. I think also because of the short turnaround, they'll want to play a few more guys. But what an awesome way for this game to end with Caleb Foster seeming to find a little bit of confidence. And even the shot he missed when he got the steal off the inbounds pass and then tried to shoot the step back, that was awesome because, last year Caleb Foster would have shot that shot, no questions asked. This year, we've seen him hesitate and pass up shots like that multiple times. And so it was awesome to see him shoot that with no hesitation.
What can I say? We've been on this downward trajectory for Caleb Foster. And in the pregame, I said, I give up. I just, who knows? And just when you give up, he steps up. And it was a beautiful thing to see him contribute 10 points, maybe some, NBA garbage time. This is where you can build into confidence. And I would like to see him. And I think Coach Shire is the first one to say, I want you to do this. I'll give you the minutes. You just got to give me something.
100%. And the last thing to kind of recap or to put a bow on it was certainly Neil Begovic getting the steal at the end of the game and getting a dunk. And then, other than Hubbard getting in and hitting a 3, I don't think you could have ended this game any better than Caleb Foster getting 10 points in those 5 or 6 minutes and ending it with a Neil Begovic dunk, which was just
Well,
awesome.
and just add to it, Harris got a bucket.
Oh yeah, and let's just keep adding to it. Gongba had a really nice
great jump hook.
Oh, it was awesome
to the basket.
He is really skilled offensively for a big. And all right, just quickly going to the chat before I get to the medals for today. Ryan Jones chimed in. He said, we really need Man to come on strong like he flashed he can today. If he gets going, it could be similar to UConn last year in March. Blowout City, baby.
I'm with you. We're going to need him because of I'm sorry, Jack, because of the potential for the SEC, games. We're going to need him to be a man in there and be willing to be everywhere. And so totally agree with the comment.
And Ryan also said, I'm just trying to pull it up here. Also, he was also talking about Caleb Foster. He says, also a wild Caleb Foster sighting at the end of the game. Good for him. Really happy for Caleb Foster. And to your point, Ryan, totally unexpected the way it's been going as of late. I agree. As you said, just before, JD, just when you've given up, that's when he shows up. And man, good for him. As you said, Brian, good for him. Quickly, speaking of the SEC, Auburn pulled away and beat Alabama in that matchup between 1 and 2. And they released the top 16 seeds today. The SEC has 3 of the top 4 and 5 of the top 8. It's just, I've never seen anything like this. It's pretty remarkable how dominant the conference is up and down.
We talked about the only thing we can remember, but when we went into the March Madness, there was a year that the Big Ten, all anybody could talk about was how dominant the Big Ten was and how many teams they got into the tournament. And then who knows, all of us who were thinking that they were that dominant got sucked into that conversation, and they were all gone pretty much by the Sweet 16. I don't think these SEC teams are quite like that. These guys Sorry, Jack.
We've all heard it. Not just me. Everyone. We've all heard this. We've heard it.
It's like I don't care who's playing. It's just it's going to be a war. So.
Well, you also started to lag a little bit and it broke up. So I think even the internet is tired of you saying how good the SEC is.
I have a couple before you get into the medals. I think we have to say
we lost you. We're gonna have to bring you back in a second here. We got to bring you back. Hold on, just give it a minute. We're gonna get your internet rocking and rolling. Just a second. I'll do the medals, then you can get your points in. Hopefully, the internet will be cooperating with us a little bit better. So, medals for today. It's hard to pick through the starting 5. They were all incredible. But if I have to choose, which I certainly do, Tyrese Proctor gets the gold medal. He just continues to be electric offensively, and he's in this 5-game stretch where he has just been practically unguardable. Cooper Flagg, he just did everything today, as he always does. Gets the silver. Scoring, rebounding, passing. He was everywhere. His defense, again, great. And then Sion James, the table setter, getting into the lane, scoring inside around the rim. And then also his defense, as usual, really good. he gets the bronze medal for today. Are you back?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
You're back. All right. One quick thing before you go. I just did the medals. I don't know if you could hear me.
I heard you. I don't necessarily agree, but we can agree to disagree.
Well, I was going to invite that opportunity because also Lawrence Freeman doesn't agree. He says Kaman needs a medal today. What do you think? Who would you take off the podium? That's the question.
I agree with Lawrence Freeman. I would take off Coop today. And I think because Coop played great and there were highlights and it was wonderful. But to the degree that K2, he's going to go back into the room with the trainer to treat all of his floor burns from being on the floor that much. And I think that deserves to be rewarded. So I love that. I think.
Well, wait. Just to clarify, so Lawrence is saying Kaman, and
Yeah.
you're saying Khan.
Yeah. See, I would have given Khan the bronze. I would have given Sion silver, and I would have given Proctor the gold. And the reason I don't give it to Mal, who was very, very, very good, is a lot of that offense is generated by other players. So I don't take any away. That's just thinking, and that's why we do this, because
we're gonna need to get you to come hang out for a second because I don't know what's going on over there. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. The internet is just bad. It's probably something to do with the snow. All right. I'm gonna try to hold out for you, JD. I know there's a few other points you wanted to get to, so I will try to hold out here for a minute or two. Hopefully your internet can kind of reset over there. Until that happens, the other thing I want to say is Duke, as Ryan said, we've got to start to kind of roll, kind of like UConn did last year, considering the level of play we have in the conference. And today was a major step forward in that department in terms of beat a decent Stanford team, but beating them the way we did was really important. And this has got to continue. Similarly, not necessarily every game, but we've got to maintain that level of intensity throughout the remainder of ACC play. I think you might be back, JD. Try give us a little something here. And now we've lost your audio. It's been a little trying. Nope. Try to leave and come back. Flag said oh, okay, yes. Okay. Flag's not coming back. He's not coming back. That's a good one to bring up. Speaking of that, they asked Dickie V about that. They said what do you think? Cooper said he's coming back. Dickie V goes, I've got a better chance of growing hair. I agree with Dickie V. I think Cooper. I didn't hear the interview. It was apparently on The Athletic. I think Cooper has just had a good time in college basketball and was more or less just kind of saying it's been a fun ride. If he could come back, I bet he would. But this guy's going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft. I don't see any reason why he would. Next note. This is like a hostage interrogation. He's so young. He is, but he's going to be the number one pick. It's just really hard to turn that down. Now, I think more than anything, maybe this is a little bit of a negotiation tactic where, I don't think so. I actually don't think this at all, but, conspiracy, the conspiracy version of me could lean into that a little bit. I don't see it. I think Cooper, he's just having fun. And we've heard this in the past from other guys. I think Derek Lively may have even said it at one point. Other guys in the past have maybe alluded to it. What do you have now? Would you want to play for the Wizards? No, absolutely not. Would you want to play for the Wizards? No, but that's how the NBA draft works. I don't know. We're going off the rails here. Duke plays Virginia Monday night. It's going to be a little bit of a different post-game show, most likely, because I will be going to the game. I'm living now in Virginia, so if anybody is going to be at the game at Virginia, drop a comment. Would be fun to meet up with you there. So we will have the preview for that game out tomorrow afternoon. So be ready for that, JD. Get your notes prepared. We will be recording tomorrow afternoon. And with that, we will see you guys tomorrow. And then certainly post-game will be a little bit different after Virginia, but we will have it covered. So don't worry about that. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. What am I missing? Oh, drop a comment. I think I said that already.